as directing district last 66 and re-elected in 2001. On August 1st, 2005, he was appointed IAM Director of Collective Bargaining. Please welcome Brother Tom Warner.
Good afternoon. If I was in the South, I'd say, how y'all doing? How you doing? First of all, I'd like to say that I'm here on behalf of International President Bob Machinists. He sends his apologies for not being able to make it. So he has asked me to say a few words on his behalf and to talk about some visions he has and some actions that he feels are needed in our organization as we move forward. So get your pen sharpened. About an hour and a half from now, we'll be done. You up for it? Do this, yeah. All right. Let's see if I can't follow the script here. But Bob has asked me to talk about some of the things that he's speaking about in the locations that he's visiting throughout the United States. He's traveling a lot. He's sharing information with a lot of members, and he's asked some of us to stand in his place in the locations that are holding meetings that he can't make. So some of the things that we're challenged with, that he wants to bring unity and the fight back into our great union for the future as we get started here with them. And number one should be no surprise. It's about organizing. We did not gain a lot of members in the last year, and he has some pretty hefty goals going forward. You know, we need to organize between 5,000 and 20,000 members annually in order to continue to provide the services that all of our members, everyone in this room, and all of our members enjoy today. There are a few ways that he's looking at organizing. Greenfield organizing, which we do today. You get a lead and you build an in-plan committee, and you try to figure out how to make it right for the people in those facilities and make them want to be part of our great organization. In-plant organizing is another way, and in Wisconsin we're starting to feel that pain, I'm sure, with the right to work law. Some states have had it for years. Iowa, for instance, since the 1960s, they've been right to work. We need to talk to those people in Iowa. They do a great job of in-plant organizing. They have high percentages of members in those shops in Iowa. So they're doing something right. I don't know how hard it's hit right now, because I know that as the contracts renew, right to work language has to be put in the contracts. I've dealt with that with a couple of locations already. And I'm not sure what the drop-off at that point was of members, but there may have been a few. But it's up to us to do the right thing, to negotiate good contracts, make sure we represent people properly, and let them know that there is somebody that cares, but it does come at a cost. They'd like to think it was free, but if everybody thought that, they wouldn't have you. They wouldn't have anybody in this room out there to fight for them day after day. So that in-plant stuff is very important. The third thing are mergers. Mergers with other unions. That's a much more difficult task. Some unions are shrinking faster, a lot faster than we have. You know, TCU merged with us. You know, you have to negotiate the deal and so forth, but we can't rely on other unions coming to our shops. We have right now, 26 states that are right to work, because they're losing members for the same reason. Our pace of organizing must be 24/7. Must be part of our culture daily. I know I sat in those chairs out there, and I often heard the story about organizing. And I know it's tough when you go into the shop every day and you're working, trying to do your job. You have families. You take time from your families. But it's important. It's your livelihood as well as anybody else's. It's all on the line. We got to start doing something about that. We got to start bringing people in. We have to talk about our union. We have to talk about the good things in our contracts. These companies don't just give it to us, do they? And those new members that come in, some of them think that it does. And we need to take the lead on doing something in those new employee orientation meetings and talk to them about the benefits that we negotiated, the benefits that we sacrificed for, the benefits that our families before us have sacrificed. And let them know this wasn't given to you by any means. If we don't organize, you lose resources. I'm a resource, right? And if we can't fund the international, if we can't fund the departments that we have, you'll be on your own at that point. Some of you may say, I can do without that guy. Right? And you may be able to, and you may soon enough too. So, but remember the other resources, strategic resources. We have our legal department, we have our organizing department, our communications department, the list goes on and on. Right? Every one of you and everybody on this stage helps fund those departments. And they're there for the right reasons. They are there to help your leadership, your business reps, your local leaders. That's what those departments are for. One of the goals for organizing is to bring some of the best organizers that from all territories that we have to capitalize on our strategies. We've got to figure out what's working and what's not working. Some things work well in some locations, some things don't work so well. Right? So you have to bring people together and talk about that. The program we have today, it works. But there are some things that work better. We need to find out what those are. So look forward to that if you have organizers. The challenge of right to work, and I can't say enough about how hard that's going to be going forward. You know, I don't envy anybody that has to deal with that on a daily basis. It's a tough job. We talk about how hard it is to organize new shops. Imagine organizing in your own shop every day. Those of you that are currently doing it know what I'm talking about. It's a difficult task. Another thing that President Martinez will be talking about are pensions. Defined benefit pension plans. Defend and protect. Defend and protect our pension plans. That's really tough these days. I'm sure you've all seen all the contracts that have been negotiated where companies in the recession came after pensions. Right? Our members were focused on maintaining jobs. They had to keep their job, number one. You can't fight for a pension, you can't fight for things if you don't have a job. But things are turning around. And I think we have a pretty good pension plan that we can throw on the table when we talk about companies coming after a defined benefit pension plan. That's the IM National Pension Plan. The whole thing is control. These companies want to control everything. They want you to gamble on your future with a 401k plan, defined contribution plan. They don't want you to be secure. They want you to work until you're 65. And who knows, maybe that'll go to 67 because that's now a lot of people in this room, their full Social Security benefit is 67. So who knows what's coming down the pipe. But 401k is not the answer. You know, and I know I'm preaching to the choir when I speak about it in here, but it's something that we got to continue to speak about with our members because it's a gamble. Everybody that had a 401k plan, are you back even yet from 2008? No, but your defined benefit pension plan didn't lose, did it? Continued to grow year after year. The IM National Pension Plan, 100% funded for over 35 years now. Because they can't control that. It's money that they have to give on a monthly basis to the plan. to pay for a good benefit for our members, so that when you do plan to retire, you have something to live on. 401k, based on the market, who knows what you'll have. You know, and you could retire and have a huge 401k balance, and the market goes to crap, and what happens then? You end up with nothing. So make sure you're talking about these things. Employers use this recession as a wedge to drive between the leadership and the membership. They want to have those that the haves and the have-nots. And by God, they are the haves. They don't want us on their golf courses. They don't want us out there in a boat when they're out there. They don't want us on a cruise. What the heck am I doing rubbing elbows with somebody that works for me in a factory? And that's wrong. You know, you got the GE, Jeff Eibelts. You got the Mike Lamox from Ingersoll Rand. Who's the guy from Crown? Right? I mean, these guys, they're paid well. They're paid well, and they're coming after every one of our benefits. And they're stealing them. We've gone through lawsuits with retiree benefits. We have two of them one that we lost about 10 years ago, retiree medical. The language wasn't clear. It didn't say you had a lifetime vested medical plan as a retiree. The company challenged us, Crown Park and Seal. Challenged us. They won in the courts. The language wasn't clear. No vested benefit. The company had the right to modify, change, up to and including termination, which they did on January 1 of 2016. We have to be very good at the language that we write for benefits that we take into retirement. Being challenged right now with GE and Crown Park and Seal. Crown Park and Seal must think they're the creator of all this nasty crap, right? GE's right there too. Post 65 benefits. Unilateral change, no negotiating. They think they can do it. We have a lawsuit with them right now. All the unions do. I think there's 9 of us, 9 different unions. We've got 150,000 people. 150,000 people that are retired that are collecting that benefit. The company's going to come and steal it from them. They'll give them a small stipend, but once you reach, I think, 2018, if you're not eligible then, you get nothing. You get nothing. So be clear, when we start talking about benefits, whether it be pension, health care, and pension is pretty easy. If you're under ERISA, you're vested, those are lifetime benefits, barring the investors of that plan, if it's a company-owned plan, from running it into the ground through their investment strategies. We've been very fortunate with most of our pensions that they're not. I plan on drawing one of those pensions soon. Right? I'm not 40, so. You know, 2-tier benefits are causing issues as well. How many people in here do not have a 2-tier wage schedule in their contract? Do not. You got about 4. 5 maybe, 4 or 5. How many times have you been asked to do it? You don't have to answer that. Yeah. Please don't take it back and share that with anybody. Hey, you know, all these people have 2-tier because you know what will happen then. Companies will come right after it. We need to fight to stay away from it. We need to fight to justify the wages that we earn. That's what the company makes us do. Do the CEOs justify the money they make? $27 million a year. How many years do you have to work after you make $27 million? Well, these guys are greedy enough to stick around for 10 or 12, 15 years. And they just want more. Give a guy a 30% increase at the top and then come and ask for concessions at the bottom. something wrong with that picture. We got to stand up and we got to start yelling at these people. We got to start letting them know enough is enough. When do you stop taking? When do they start caring about your families? When do they start caring about your children? That's what it's all about. We're trying to make a living so our families have something. And you got people making millions of dollars saying, you don't need all that. Ryan, I'm sorry. You just don't need that much. So you got to stay home every weekend. You can't buy a boat. You can't enjoy life with your family. You're in the factory 7 days a week just trying to make a go of it. I tell you, that kind of galls me to even think about it. And you have companies saying, your contract's for you. It doesn't cover your children. You don't get time off to make sure your children are getting the right care they need. Right? Well, guess what? Why do they work? They work for their families. And that's why we work as well. And talk about negotiations. And you talk about what we need to do to make sure our members are being represented to the best of our ability for them. We have a great negotiations prep class. I just went through one with the GE plant here in Madison. It's always good for me to go through one every now and then because you think you might know something, and you can always learn something. You can always learn about the struggles people are having. You can learn about somebody, what's happening in a factory that harms our members. When we talk about safety, we talk about time away from work for their families. We talk about providing good things for their families. So a return to the old school steward preparation for negotiations classes is in order. Right? I know that there are districts and you have steward training classes, right? But not all stewards can attend. And I think we need to take some of our training to them versus asking them to come to us. Because it's the right thing to do. Bob will talk about no long-term agreements and what that means. We signed some long-term agreements in some areas. The economy shoots up and we could have gotten a little bit more maybe. I know it locks it in and we could have done worse too if the economy goes down. I mean, there are businesses, and I'll speak, because I came from District 66 in Wisconsin, I've seen that happen. The chart contract. I mean, they go up to 400, they're down to 150. That's just the way the business is. So you have to hit them in their feet. Right? Fortunately, you guys did, right? Very fortunate. We must have better ways to communicate. And I know Bob's going to talk about business reps being in their shops, talking to people, shaking hands, making sure they know who you are. There are horror stories out there about people not going into a shop for 12 months or 18 months. That's going to stop. I try to do that when I have a labor management meeting with companies. Try to get in the shop, talk to members, at least let them know who I am. Some people don't care to see me. Does that surprise you?
No.
That should have been a resounding no.
See? Yeah.
I think I'm a great guy. But guess what? Sometimes we fall short with the things that we do. But we do the best we can. If I made everybody happy, we'd probably never have no one in this room. Right? If I got everything I wanted, if you got everything you wanted, you probably won't be around for a while, after a while. So, companies always seem to they'll spend millions of dollars to fight us. anti-union firms, politicians. You know, these corporations are nasty. They're nasty. It's all about their profits. It's all about what they can put in their pockets. The relationships with some companies are going to continue. We have good relations with some companies. They talk like they care. They act like they care. They do the right thing for the most part. Yeah, it's not everything, but they do the right thing. But then there are companies that will say they want to work with you in one location, then in another they're telling the people in the location that we're bad. You don't want to be part of that organization. And I'm talking about Boeing right now. You know, the members made some tough decisions in Seattle, right? The company invested a lot of money, guaranteed jobs. We go to South Carolina, and all of a sudden we're the badasses then, right? You don't want to be part of that organization. We got Nikki Haley. She's going to fight for us. Yeah. So those kind of relationships they're not going to work with our international president, Bob Martinez. If you want to partner, we'll be the best partner that they'll ever have. We can be that partner, but it's an equal partnership, though. Right? Don't tell me that you want to be my friend today because you need something, and when I come to you and say I need something for my members, right? You turn your back on me. I can't afford that. You're making millions. You're making billions. And I like to use GE in this case. $16 billion of profit. $16 billion. Paid no taxes. They keep shutting down our facilities. We make good decisions in bargaining with them. And since I've been here, in the last 11 years, we had 14 facilities. We're down to 5. And they wonder why I'm not a happy man. I'd like to strangle the people. Try to watch my words when I'm up here. We've got some good jobs, though. Right? We still have some good jobs, but we lost thousands of jobs. Thousands of families without income from GE because they can send it overseas, they can send it to Mexico, they can put it in another shop. All these are threats that we deal with. How we overcome them is another situation. You know, I think we have a small shop right now going through a sale, right? A GE location in District 10. One of them. Well, there's actually 2 of them, right? Waukesha and the sales and service. The Waukesha thing, what a travesty, I'll tell you. You know, that was all about the Exim Bank, borrowing money, trying to get money. GE came and said because they hadn't solved that problem in Congress that they were going to Canada, that Canada was going to give them money to build a facility and move, was there 350 or 400 jobs out of Waukesha. I talked with Alex, I talked with Joe. Tom Buffenbarger was part of that conversation. Bob Martinez was part of that conversation. I'm sure Phil Gruber was part of that conversation. And the first question was this: why are we walking arm in arm to Congress, through the halls of Congress with GE, trying to get this thing fixed? Right? Well, their comment was, I don't know if it was shared, but, well, we didn't know you guys were trying to fix that. Right? Like hell they didn't know. That's what we do. Did they reach out to us? No. We've reached out to them several times. Ricky De La Fuente was up here last night. He's on the Hill all the time. These are the things he deals with. Their legislative people could have contacted him, and Congress would have seen how important it is to both management and to labor at that time. Then when the problem got fixed, we went back to GE. Went back and said, the problem's fixed. Can we do anything with Waukesha? 400 jobs. The answer was no. Done deal. It was an excuse. It was an excuse to shut down another one of our IAM shops, another union location, and it was cause for one of those not so great conversations on the phone with my contact with GE. I'm so sick and tired of having those conversations. I had to leave a voicemail once for the guy. He shared it with everybody in his office. I left it. It wasn't a very pleasant message because, you know, we sit in bargaining. We bargained for 20,000 people, that GE contract, different unions. And we made some tough decisions. We made some damn tough decisions. The people made the right choice. And I walked out of there with the feeling, and I made the comment in bargaining, that when we make good decisions, don't shove it up our rear end when we walk away. It wasn't like within 2 years after that agreement, they shut down 3 more places. So they got a scalding voicemail from me. And in bargaining this last year, the chief negotiator, John Gritty, took me out to the side and he said, boy, you remember that voicemail you left me? I said, you're damn right I do. He said, I meant every word of it too. He said, we do the right thing. You sit across the table. You ask us to do the right thing, we do. We tell you we should grow because we made good decisions. We should not shrink, and you do this kind of shit. He says, well, I just wanted to tell you, he said, I shared that with my boss and his boss. And I said, good, how'd that go? Well, they took notice. I said, yeah, they took notice so well that you're going to shut down 2 more places of ours. Great. He said, I'm really impressed. You know, I'm not a happy guy these days. It's probably a good thing that I'm going to be retiring because who knows what kind of damage my temper can do, or my anger can do. I'm a pretty happy guy most of the time. But when it comes to this union, and when it comes to our members, we're going to fight like hell, right? We're going to do the best we can, and we're going to try to make sure that life is better for every one of us. So, the last thing I'm going to say is this year is a big year. It's a big year for the IAM. We have the Grand Lodge Convention, opens up September 4th, Chicago at the Hilton. I wasn't in there this morning. I'm sure that somebody talked about that probably. I don't know. Convention call went out in February. Delegates, the nominations in April, the elections in May. Constitutional proposals must be in by June. That's a big deal. I mean, I've had several conversations about some things when it comes to organizing. When we look at some of the shops that really need our help, their wages and benefits are terrible. They need our help. We need to think about how we can bring them in and do it the right way. I know that people talk about how dues structures are, but that's something you can help with. You can be creative to think of ways to do things to help gain members and not hurt them by bringing them in. Right? We're going to grow. We're going to grow them, but so some of the constitutional proposals will be Department of Labor cleanup on the Grand Lodge officers' elections. We all went through that, what was that, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Any district that was like a living hell going to it with the DOL. Anytime they get involved. Are there any DOL members in this room? Good, I'm retiring. Go ahead, Bob. Special dispensation. Grant the international president authority to continue with special dispensations. Create a fund for retirees of some sort. And there's more to come, you know. And President Martinez is looking for the support of all the delegates that come to the convention. And I'm sure he's going to preach that this is your union. This is our union. We should be damn proud of our union. We should be proud of the people that have set us up with the benefit package and the contract structure you have today, that worked hard for that over the last 30, 40, 50 years. We're going to continue to talk about it. I mean, social media is one thing, but I think, some people like to air their dirty laundry, and that should not happen, right? But it is a good communication tool. And it's a good place to tell people you're proud to be a machinist union member. So, Bob's going to challenge everyone to do more. Thus, I'm standing here in front of you, and I'll be in Springfield in 2 days doing the same thing. Be more involved, make organizing part of your everyday activity, stay active, get members active, be outspoken about your union, and commitment to the job and to our future. So, on behalf of the International President, how'd I do? Not bad. Not bad, huh? On behalf of Bob would have liked to have been here. Don't get me wrong. And he sent me, you have to be satisfied with me, right? But I am from Wisconsin, and I'll be moving back to Wisconsin, right? So, I do want to introduce one person in the room, though. Craig Norman. Stand up, Craig.